Cover Killer Nation's been a couple days, but it's time for us to talk about a brand new album. We're taking a pause from all the other activities to get back to what it is we do best. And let's talk about the best new and current music that's coming out there, whether it be metal or not, but this one is definitely metal. This one is definitely black metal. This is the follow-up to Lawless Darkness, which is an album that I reviewed a couple of years ago. I believe that was whenever I was still Cover Killer, so I do believe that that album review is now poof, vanished, gone. Can't see it, can't find it. I could be wrong. But we're talking about Watain. We're talking about The Wild Hunt, their follow-up to Lawless Darkness, which was actually a very, very big success a couple of years ago. It was definitely an album that seemed to really reinvigorate black metal a little bit and kind of get a little bit of reputation for itself. And it was one that I noticed that for black metal, which doesn't exactly sell very well in my store, that one was definitely getting picked up a good bit. And I have since seen these guys live. I have since, gotten that album and basically have done my best to track down some of their older material. So Watain is definitely a band that, at least for myself personally, has definitely become one that I definitely count as damn good. So let's talk about The Wild Hunt. Now, far be it from me to really speak for all black metal fans, far be it from me to speak to all black metal musicians, practitioners, far be it from me to be a black metal fan, practitioner, black magic provider, yeah, whatever, myself. Far be it for me to speak to all of you is essentially what I'm saying. However, it is possible for bands to evolve and not sound like they've missed a beat, and not sound as though they are this radically different band. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we do not have to encounter every single situation where a band is doing something a little bit different or evolving just a little bit, as we did with Saint Anger and Olympia Divinum Insanus by Metallica and Morbid Angel respectively, because sometimes, as I've always said throughout all of those experiences, sometimes evolution takes place and it really tends to impress. Not to mention, it seems like it is, just basically one step away from becoming part of the band's bread and butter to begin with. Watain has actually showcased this point brilliantly, and it's why I even bring it up in the first place. Now, on this album, whenever you begin it, you're getting a lot of straightforward black metal with little twinges here and there of a little bit more in the way of building a composition, of really building the atmosphere, the setting, everything to it. You're getting a lot more building in the composition of the songs, which is something that has been sort of on an evolutionary leap for each of the last couple of albums that Watain have put out. These are compositions that are still raw black metal, for the most part, in most regard, but they are getting more and more tricks up their sleeve. There's more and more that kind of is going on in there to kind of make their entire repertoire a little bit more diverse. Not to mention, it gives them a whole lot more in the reserve tank to go to if they really want to throw a curveball. And man, I think they're going to throw a huge curveball to a lot of fans. I almost feel guilty spoiling this. However, I have to, because this is a song that I must talk about. This is the song that a lot of people are going to be talking about. I really expect that Watain Camp is going to be abuzz with all sorts of reactions to the song. Track 6 on this album, They Rode On. This is a song where it almost seems like Watain kind of took a step back and thought, what can we do that's kind of out of our character, out of our element, but at the same time seem perfectly in character and perfectly in our element? We're going to basically take some of the best elements of Agalloch, we're going to take some of the best elements of Viking metal, kind of a little bit of an enslaved tactic, so to speak, and we're going to create an epic song of Agalloch, folk, Viking, enslaved proportions. I almost forgot the other band that I mentioned. And yeah, it happened. And yeah, it's close to 9 minutes in length. And yeah, it's basically nothing but clean vocals. And yeah, it's fucking awesome. This is a really, really good song. And I think the reason why is because the storytelling on this track, as far as when this is being sung, the way in which it's being done, it definitely has that feel of like a free-flowing epic poem, either that or something that has been very well thought out. It doesn't really matter if it's free-flowing or not. It has an epic feel to it. Almost as though this is a story that's being kind of retold around a campfire to a bunch of young individuals, where basically this is kind of indoctrinating a philosophy on to these individuals. You know, are you willing to give up everything and ride on with these people? Are you willing that if they die to continue to ride on? This is a really, really awesome track. I really enjoy the way in which it was done, because it definitely just has that very, you know, one-to-one personalization to it. It feels very much as though the band is speaking directly to you, and that is always an interesting experience. Sometimes it's not so good. However, with this track, it's excellent. For this track, if you love this kind of music and you just as a side venture, or even as a main venture, even if black metal is just your side venture and you enjoy any of the two groups that I just mentioned, Agalloch and Enslaved, if you enjoy folk metal, if you enjoy Viking metal, if you enjoy anything that kind of has this slow churning pace, this very rhythmic atmosphere to it, this very, you know, epic sound, this epic proportion to it, then man, you're going to have a great experience with this track. It's going to be one that certainly you will recall and remember long into the future. And that's kind of the true metaphor that I can use for Watain. This is a group that basically already had an identity firm and in mind. However, they just keep building on it. They keep adding dynamic after dynamic to it. And really, so far, they have not found a dynamic that hasn't worked for them. They haven't found a dynamic, really, that they haven't been able to accomplish very well. Basically, everything that they have done has been a little bit outside of the black metal realm, or just expanding the black metal realm or the black metal universe has certainly been one that has been advantageous for them, because they've been able to really hone in on what exactly they're going for and craft it so well and craft it with such precision that you can't complain about it. There's nothing wrong with it. They're able to do this better than some of the bands within the own, within the own genre. It's crazy. It's ridiculous. The second part of this album just kind of continues on like that with a little bit of experimentation. There is actually some points in which, during I think it's the Wild Hunt, that with the chanting and everything like that, I thought to myself, man, it's almost like Watain is a church. Go to their website. You'll understand that that's kind of true. Not like physical building and everything, but just look at the name of the website and you'll understand. It's almost as though, in this environment, Watain hired the guys from Ghost BC, or Ghost. I'd rather just say Ghost, but I have to say Ghost BC to be PC, and that's BS. They hired the guys from Ghost, the Nameless Ghouls, and Papa himself to come in and add a little bit more to this track by giving it a little bit of a choral effect. Giving it a little bit of an ensemble effect as far as the vocals are concerned in the background, giving it a little bit of that Gregorian chant. There we go. That's what we're going for. And it's just very, very nicely done. I know it's not them, but let me dream. Let a man dream, goddammit. All I have to say, if you are really kind of hurting for a new black metal disc, if you're really kind of hurting for something that's going to kind of take you by surprise, if you have never heard of these guys before and you're viewing this because you're curious, this is a great album to get into. If you already know of Watain's body of work, it's only expanded. I don't mean just because this album's come out. I mean their overall body of work, what they're able to do, how they're able to present themselves, the way in which the songs are written, the way in which the songs are able to be played, the different dynamics that they've been able to add onto the plus side, the different negatives that they've been able to kind of subtract from their sound. None of these songs feel really bogged down. None of the minutes on this album really feel all of that wasted. This is definitely one where they have crafted something very meticulously, and you can kind of now understand why it's taken 3 years in order for this album to come out. It isn't just because they've been touring meticulously and they've had other things to do. No, it's because they've also been crafting one hell of a beast of an album as well. Damn. So scoring. This is the part that always sucks, because I feel like I do the same numbers over and over again. I almost want to get a new system going where I assign words to it, or, UPC codes. That'd be dumb. But that's I have to give it 9. This is a great album. This is very well done. It's been meticulously crafted, as I mentioned before, and it just really, it represents itself well, and it doesn't get old after a couple of listens. In fact, if anything, you're kind of encouraged by the album in order to go back and listen to it again, because you might have missed something. You're definitely encouraged to go back and revisit some of the you know, the more interesting moments on this album. You're definitely encouraged to go back to listen to a song like They Rode On, because it's just so different. And that's the thing that kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. But that's the thing, this is a sore thumb that's a blessing in disguise, which I guess doesn't make it a sore thumb at all, but metaphors, man. I don't have them all. So yeah, 9 out of 10. Highly recommend this for everybody. Now, for those of you who haven't seen the original video for Lawless Darkness, I ended that one with a pretty terrible joke. That, you know, Bruce Lee's favorite band was Watain instead of Wata. Yeah, that's actually his favorite drink, Wata. Here's a terrible one for you for this album. You know, Watain could easily have made a concept album based, you know, with this record, based around a Tom Clancy novel. The Wild Hunt for Red October. I'll be here all night. Nothing. I hear the crickets. Even the crickets are leaving. All alone here. I'm gonna go listen to this album again later.